Peace, y'all. What it do? You know who it is. It's your boy, the Anarchist of Black Flag Productions. I'm here with my girl, Ariel. What up, Ariel?
Hey, what's up, y'all?
Make sure you go follow my girl, Kay, on Instagram at 2_ the MFK. And go ahead and follow my boy, Mob Dollar, also on Instagram at STMG Studios. And you can go ahead and follow me too, you know what I'm saying, if you want to, you know what I'm saying, at Anarchist Beats, you know what I'm saying, if you feel like it, you know what I'm saying, on Twitter and Instagram, but that's if you feel like it. Where can they follow you, Ariel?
Y'all can follow me on Twitter at ARIEEE.
Yeah, you better follow that Black Flag Pro, because this is what is being brought to you by at Black Flag Pro on Twitter and Instagram. Now let's get into it, y'all. XXXTENTACION versus Drake. This nigga XXX been going at Drake for the longest. Just to give you a little bit of background on my boy XXXTENTACION, which at first I thought his name was Extension. And I done heard people call him XXX Tentacles and XXX Tentacion. I done heard it all. So it's, you know, this dude, I really like this dude because he kind of came out just you know, a fireball. People didn't know that much about him, and it was kind of interesting researching him because, well, for one, his music is very, very different. You haven't heard his music, Ariel.
No, I haven't.
But I've heard a lot of his music, and I would say I fuck with this nigga heavy.
Okay.
I fuck with his music heavy. He got a song called Bitch, I'm Sipping Tea in Your Hood. What the fuck is up? That's my shit. You see what I'm saying? It be like this. Bitch, I'm sipping tea in your hood. What the fuck is up? The junk go. Like, he got this form of trap that fuses with metal a little bit. You see what I'm saying? And I've heard, like, some of his influences were, like, I don't know, you know, some thrasher bands, maybe like Metallica, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
That's cool, you know.
I can hear this in music. He got some R&B, you know, some R&B tracks. Or maybe, like, I think I heard one R&B track that was dope. And, you know, he got his hip-hop tracks. Of course, his biggest song out is a song called Look at Me, Look at Me, Fuck with Me, Look at Me. So he got that song out. And it's funny, you know, just a little background on him. I think he's from Florida. He was born in a place called Plantation, Florida. And I think he swims around that Fort Lauderdale area. You know, growing up, he said him and his mom kind of were at odds. Even though when they were younger, you know, they were real close. You know, he kind of grew up and kind of became sort of a bad kid, fighting and whatnot. Love porn. Thus the name XXX. The nigga love porn. I think he got some porn on himself out right now, and it's somewhere flying around the internet.
Okay.
But yeah, he said, you know, he as a young kid, you know, he just got locked up a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, I noticed he had, you know, tattoos on his face and stuff like that.
Tons of tattoos.
Yeah.
You're just one of those kids, you know, said in and out of different houses and whatnot. His grandma's house, his mom's house. And, you know, he just kind of just was bouncing around the juvenile prison system and just thought, hey, man, let me rap. Let me get to rapping. And some of the very first songs he dropped, I think his very first song was a song called Vice City, Start Blowing Up. You know, he became an overnight SoundCloud, you know, big artist on SoundCloud.
Wow.
So since then, there's been some controversy because your boy Drake has put out a playlist. Some call it an album, but he calls it a playlist with the song. I can't think of the name of the song, but there's a particular song that he performed, I think at some concert, where people say the flow sounds exactly like XXXTentacion's Look at Me. And I heard the song, and I think it's something on the internet like plays both songs. It sounds exactly like the flow. Exactly like the flow. You can tell Drake heard it and he just said, hey, I'm gonna do this. But I've heard people make the argument that Drake didn't really steal it because he actually did a similar flow on the song Digital Dash with Future. You remember that song? I did a Digital Dash.
Yeah, okay.
You know, so he in there and then Forgive or Forget. And so, you know, it's still that you know, 3 times flow that people are doing, but
That Future.
yeah, Future, Migos, and all of that. But the particular way that this dude XXX was doing it, people feel like Drake kind of seen that and straight copied it, slowed it down, and made it his song. What do you think about that?
I mean, to be honest, like, not even hearing it, I wouldn't be shocked. Like, just honestly. Because I know that's more of Drake's style. You know, he's more of a sampler. He's more into whatever works. You know, and that works.
Drake is
for
a
him.
fucking thief. Let's just get it out the way. He steal nigga shit. He just straight steal every nigga shit.
Yep,
He
and
say, this is my shit. This is me. No, just
No, but I do think that he got caught out, you know, like, and I think it kind of sucks that this guy had to be in jail, you know what I'm saying, getting hit up, like, yo, Drake just performed, this kind of sounds just like your melody, just like how, you know, what you put out, you know, like, I mean, that's just messed up, you know, and then imagine just feeling like, I'm locked up, and this nigga is getting big off of what I did, you know, like.
I can't say that he's getting big off of what he did, but to create a song, and steal a style and not give him no credit. But I would say
just acting like he did it, like all on his own. You
Right.
know, Drake has a habit of that, just acting like he's some kind of genius. You know, when most of it stems from something else. You know,
he don't point out his influence, and especially if I think if something influences you that is out now. You know what I'm saying? Like somebody is making music that influence you. Gotta say that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's one thing not to say that. Okay, Marvin Gaye influenced me, because Marvin Gaye influenced every fucking body.
Okay, right.
But somebody that's out here doing something now, you gotta say, hey, this person doing that, this person doing. But I would say
and work with him. You know.
Exactly. But I like the way that X came out first when people brought to his attention that there was a song that Drake did that sounded like the flow he did on "Look at Me." He actually eloquently stated his position. He said, I think he came out in a letter, obviously he was in jail, but saying, you know, the song that Drake did and performed at the concert sounds close to the song I did. You know, I wish he could have reached out to me. I wish he could have blah, 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 blah. And
that was respectful.
Exactly. And he did an interview when, because XX recently got out of jail, and he did an interview basically calling Drake, I think, the F word. You know, just kind of punking him, saying that I don't like that he stole my flow. I would have just let the dude hop on my song with the flow, and I would have gave him all the publishing rights. I mean, I'd have gave him all the money that was going to be made off of that song after it got played so many times. Because he understands how big it is to have a Drake on your song, i.e. when Drake was on the Migos blew up. When Drake was on, you know, the Versace song. When Drake was on the Tuesday song, that guy McConan blew up, and that's a you know, that tends to happen.
Right.
So this guy obviously understands that. And another thing I think what this guy understands is, if you create beef with the biggest rapper in the game, then you are going to go somewhere. Because this dude has put out on Twitter, which I've seen because I follow this motherfucker on Twitter. Like I said, I fuck with his music heavy. You see what I'm saying? He puts out something like, you know what, Drake's mom is kind of cute. Or, you know, Drake mom can get it. You see what I'm saying? So, obviously, this guy understands how to get his foot in the game. But I like the fact that he does that because the music that he's put out so far is legit to me. But what do you think about it, Ariel?
Okay, so, really, I think he's clever. You know, I've been seeing a lot on social media. The picture that he like recently posted, and he kind of cropped himself into Drake's family photo.
Yeah, I seen that.
It's a picture of Drake as a kid with his mom, and he just cropped himself in as stepdad. Like, you know, he's really, you know, like messing with Drake. You know, at this point. But I mean, just looking at him, I'm gonna tell you right now. Just looking at his Instagram, he's got 676,000 followers, 3 posts. Only 2 of the pictures are of him, you know. So I mean, that just goes to show you, like,
What was the other picture of Drake mama?
Probably, but no, it's some who is this?
Like that
I
is
think that
Drake
is
mama.
Drake's mom. Oh my god. Okay.
It's
So
33% of his Instagram is Drake mom.
okay, so yeah, but you know, I think this guy is smart though, you know, to kind of just call Drake out for what it is, and then also just kind of just say like, hey, like, you know, like, I was willing to work with you, like, you know, but then kind of just losing our respect for him, because I don't know if Drake knew that he was locked up, but I guess he kind of felt like, okay, well, what is he going to do about it, you know? And I don't know how much time, you know, I just think Drake really thought he could have got away with it, and I'm glad he called him out on it, you know? I can't wait to listen to his music now, because ultimately, like, you know, I got respect for somebody who, what you say, he hasn't even put out a video, and people
He doesn't
have
have not one music video, but he has a few. He actually has a fight compilation on YouTube. This little nigga, I heard he's 5'6", but he be beating niggas' asses.
That's crazy, yo.
I think I seen the video where he was about to beat this one dude ass with a gun in his hand. The other dude had a gun in his hand.
Oh.
And he was about to beat, XXXTENTACION was about to beat that dude's ass with the gun in his motherfucking hand. So this motherfucker is the real deal. I think he's getting a really big following like this because, to me, I have to be totally honest, This dude XXXTENTACION is the most interesting motherfucker in the game.
Why do you say he's interesting?
He's interesting because I've seen, I think, about 2 or 3 interviews on him. Mm-hmm. And everything this dude says, I believe, is real. He seems to keep it real. He doesn't, you know what I'm saying? He says a lot of off-the-wall stuff. Like, I think he calls himself Dagger Dick and makes a lot of references to his own dick and posts a lot of his own dick pics on social media, which he has exclaimed to do or said to do.
Okay.
So that, you know, I'm not too much into that, but that's interesting. Not only is it interesting, it's interesting that this dude has more fight videos on the internet than he actually has music videos.
Yeah.
That's interesting. It's also interesting. If you just listen to the music, you know, you can tell these kids is on some other stuff. I think they bring in a new wave of music. And I feel like even though I'm a little bit older than this kid and some of his camp people that's putting music out, because I think he's 19, 20 now. I'm 26. But if you look at the theme of how he puts out videos, these different anime, because he doesn't put out music videos, but I think he puts out songs, or people put out his songs with like anime background. Like he has one song with like a Dragon Ball Z episode on it. So he kind of, I think he brings out a lot of that, my generation or people younger than me, you know what I'm saying? He kind of articulates that better than any other artist I've seen, you know what I'm saying? And he does it artistically, creatively. And even though a lot of his music that he already put out was sort of beginner, what people would call basement music, it wasn't really mixed that well, but like I said, I could listen to it and hear that the talent is there. I want to, you know, I can't wait to hear some of the music that he's about to drop.
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you basically what he said, you know, in reference to Drake. So, quote, if he can do a whole fucking album, right, or at least 2 to 3 fucking songs originally, X said, that does not sound like anybody else's cadence or does not have a fucking sample and just sound like him originally, he'll get my kudos. I'll run around the street butt ass naked. I'll tattoo Drake's name on my ass cheek. If he can be original for even 2 seconds, he added, or out-rap me for 2 seconds, or if he can go on stage and sing a cappella, excuse me guys, sing any of his songs a cappella with no auto-tune and record a song with no auto-tune, then maybe, just maybe, I'll shut the fuck up. But until then, guns blazing, and I'm not gonna stop because I got a very, very, very strong fan base.
Damn. Which is true.
Yeah, I mean, 646,000 followers with 3 photos up.
The dude got songs on YouTube with 11 million views. I just found out who he was a few weeks ago. And to look at a song from a person I've never heard of with 11, 8, 6, 12, you know what I'm saying, million views, lets you know how strong this dude's following is. They show strong. A lot of them, of his cult following, really don't want him to get huge. You know what I'm saying? They don't want him to be going at Drake and then Drake make a song. Because, listen, this dude, to me, when I hear him talk in interviews, it's young, but it's smart as fuck.
Yeah, I mean, he sounds smart. The fact that he just knew, okay, I would have not minded working with you, you know, but for you to kind of just like, you know, sample my music or take my style and then just not even, you know, just show credit, you know, that's disrespectful. And then I feel like he does seem like, you know, he's not so bad as to where he can, you know, once feel disrespected, then he gets disrespectful, you know. And so, I mean, I can respect that, you know, like, honestly, you know, and I'm more interested in hearing his music now, just knowing that, because, honestly, you know, I've heard the majority of Drake's music, and I can say that the majority of Drake's music, it sounds, you know, kind of like something else, you know, or a lot of it just, I don't know, it just all resembles something else, and, you know, so to hear something new, something fresh, and this guy is creating his own wave, I'm not shocked that Drake tried to portray it as, you know, he crafted his wave, you know, or like he started it, or, you know, and then a lot of times people do think like, oh, Drake was doing it first, you know, or but no, you know, no.
Yeah, because a lot of people are saying that because he has a similar flow on that song Digital Dash. It's similar, but like I said, you need to play that Look at Me song right next to whatever the new song that Drake has on More Life. The flows on those 2 songs are identical. I think he kind of stumbled onto the Digital Dash flow because, you know, this ain't nothing but the 3 times flow. It's just the difference in a lot of these flows is when you stop. You know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? That doesn't exactly sound like what it was on Digital Dash, even though it sounds similar. So anybody that hears those 2 songs can kind of tell that obviously Drake heard that song and maybe didn't even just think twice about it. He said, hey, the next song I get on, I'm just going to start rapping like this. You know what I'm saying? But XXX feels like, man, if I originate a fucking flow or you hear it on my shit first and you fucking start rapping it, you need to shout me the fuck out, bro. Especially when I was in jail and Drake shout out would have might have, you know what I'm saying, lessen my sentence or whatever.
Career off,
you know? So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't have nothing but respect for this, for the move that he made, And, honestly, I think it's funny that he just, calls him out and says, like, I'll shut the fuck up. But right now it's guns blazing because I have a strong fan base, which is true. A very dedicated fan base, who just honestly has just gone off of what he's provided, which is the music, It's not about the visuals, it's not about that, it's clearly not about that. So I think it is about the music, and I think that for him it's all about the music, And so if that's all you got to fight for that, And so
do you think XXXTentacion can fuck Drake mama?
I don't know what his mama like, honestly. So I mean, that depends on how she get down,
Hey.
She might be open-minded.
Hey, because he just been making so many posts like she cute, I want her. I think he gonna try to put his bid in.
And see, now she actually might be like, y'all need to stop. And then that might honestly open up her, her mind. You never know, like if he got close to her. But I would hope that Drake's mom wouldn't do that, that she would just be somewhere safe in the house, just don't even open the door. Just,
Yeah, man, so you got Drake, Drake been taking a lot of heat, you know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people feel like that Kendrick song is directed at Drake. Some people say Big Sean, but a lot of people feel like it's Drake. And now this dude, XXX, is coming at him hard by saying, hey, I want to fuck your mom, Drake. And you know what I'm saying? You kind of soft. I don't appreciate the stuff you doing in the industry with all the stealing. He calls it stealing you doing. So, what do you think it feels like to be Drake right now? I mean, on the one hand, you the most popular artist in the world. But then on the other hand, in your genre that you came up with, everybody's taking a shot at you. You know what I'm saying? Even dudes just coming up, dudes been in the game. What do you think it feels like to be Drake right now? What do you think is going through his head?
I think to be Drake right now, I think he's in a bind, honestly. I mean, it's not like you could really disagree with what XX is saying, like it's really, not, because I mean, he just says like, do something original where you don't use auto-tune, where you're not sampling, where, it's just you, where you're not sounding like someone else's cadence, like literally be your sound, and then honestly, like, because he's kind of crafted, this whole OVO thing, and he's like brought P&D on, and to carry that sound that he created. If even he did go back to sounding how he originally sounded, people would be like, now you sound like Party Next Door. So it's just, I don't know, Drake did this to himself, sampling everybody's shit and then confusing everybody on, I think Drake's style is sampling, I think Drake's style is collaboration, but the smart way to go about that is to recognize your style and then actually act on it. So collaborate with them, and give people that helping hand, as opposed to, just doing it how you did it, which is kind of just shicey and just acting like, like you the smartest man in the world and you just be coming up with stuff. I think being Drake right now, honestly, it just kind of sucks because he did it to himself a little bit.
Sucks. I mean, he got
money. But money won't make you happy always,
Especially
because I think Drake seems like the type of person who got to walk around and pay for a lot of people. I mean, of course he got friends who got boss they can afford themselves and whatnot, but as much emotion as he puts into his music and as much complaining and bitching and moaning he does about relationships and just the situations that he's facing with women.
I hate being alone.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like when you feel like that, you will pay for people to stay by you, And so I just think that Drake is, probably,
I hate sleeping alone.
You know what I'm saying?
He probably hate being alone too.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
I would if I was Drake.
So I think that, being Drake right now, Drake needs the people, that, and I think that when he's kind of being attacked, though, from his own lane, the music lane, kind of sucks because that puts you in a hard predicament, and then it's just really just shedding light on your character, it sheds light on your music and really what you've done so far, and I think it's kind of making people kind of just throw their neck back a little bit like, maybe he do sound just like him, and maybe he does need to kind of stop that, or at least pay homage, and just recognize the fact that, that dude inspired me. I thought it was totally awesome when Childish Gambino got on stage and just said, the best song right now is The Migos, Bad and Bougie. How hard is it to just pay respect to somebody? You know what I'm saying? Even when Adele, won an award, she paid respect to Beyonce. They were racing in the same category and had to just let her know, I play your music, girl. Like, I'm a part of Beehive, like, I support you. And Drake has to really kind of just get in the habit of sharing.
Yeah, it's funny, man, because Drake, it's just real hard,
Is
man.
he the only child?
I believe so. I believe he was the only child, and with him, I just noticed in his music throughout his whole career that he takes a lot from other people. I mean, he samples. Probably 80% of his music is sample music, like
That's
just
not
sampling
good,
other
though.
music. But I mean, Kanye came out on a sample tip. I think like 90% of Kanye's first few albums were
Do you
samples.
think that's becoming more popular now, though?
That
Because
is
I mean,
it. That's
like,
the thing.
feel
I do
like-
not know one artist that does not sample.
Yeah, and I just feel like everybody now, though, is sampling. Like,
As far as beats go.
as far
but then-
as beats, as far as hooks, like
And
past
then,
verses I've
yeah,
heard.
all the
just,
time.
you
Yeah,
know.
a lot of time it's a new thing for people to put old. For instance, I noticed Drake uses a lot of older R&B and hip hop references in his songs, and I don't know if he's passing them off like they're his rhymes, but obviously some stuff you say, people realize, oh, that I remember what's name used to say that. So I can't say that he's stealing in that aspect, but he is taking, what I'm saying, and not all the time saying, hey, this is where I got it from. Sometimes I think he just mentioned it so you can kind of hear like, oh, that's from that. But
He
my
even
problem is a
started
lot of
with
kids don't
practice.
know, because a lot of people didn't listen to that older music. Drake, we have the luxury of being closer to his age. So a lot of the songs that he samples and references in his new song, we remember, being on the radio and stuff. So a lot of these new kids don't really know a lot of the stuff that he references and samples, was actually big songs. So
I'm gonna tell you right now a song that I actually do like off of Drake's newest album, and the name of the song is Teenage Fever, which it does have a sample in it, but it's called Teenage Fever, and basically he took a verse from Jennifer Lopez's "If You Had My Love" 1999 song that she did. And basically, if you had my love and I gave you all my trust, would you comfort me? Remember that track? Yeah, like, but when a man was singing it and it's in a different tone, and it's
but he
"If
been did that.
you
Remember?
had my
Yeah,
love
remember
and it's-
Aaliyah? He said in the song that
I mean, practice. I can tell, girl, you look good. Want you back?
Yeah, that was the thing.
When he took,
he did the Aaliyah track. I forget. I think he did it on the what's that one song? Deuces, where he said, I'm not just anybody. Girl, I gotta watch my back.
Yeah.
So he always does this. And like I say, sometimes because you do, like me and you are old enough to remember, like that's this song. But a lot of the young kids don't know that.
They
They feel
probably think
like,
this shit is original, honestly, and that's sick because at a point, you know what I'm saying. I do remember when Bruno Mars got sued
For the Trinidad
Marvin.
James line?
No, for his album, was that him? His album resembled Marvin Gaye's or something like that.
oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know he got sued for that.
Yeah, I think it was it him? Or was it me? It wasn't Miguel. It was, I think it was Bruno Mars. Okay,
The album looked like,
Terrence, you know what I'm talking about?
or was it
You might have to cut
the Robin Thicke song?
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
okay.
Remember when Robin Thicke did his album and then they
Did the song.
his whole album got kind of discredited. Well, okay, no, maybe it was just that one
I remember
song.
that one song that he did with T.I. that I'm not sure if he sampled Marvin Gaye. He might have. I don't really remember.
But it resembled Marvin Gaye.
Yeah, they said
and
it sounded like his
tore
sound.
his whole
Yeah.
career apart. And then it's kind of just like now it's to a point where they are literally just blatantly taking, pieces of it and then just kind of, and sometimes I'm not gonna lie to you, I probably wouldn't even care if like the whole thing was fire and then they just like, sampled that one piece. But when it's all just kind of like basic and then that one part in there, you're like, oh yeah, I know that, because you feel like, oh, I know that part, and then it becomes catchy to you. It's like, I don't really like the song. I just like that one song from back in the day, and he mixed it in, and that used to be my.
Now you like the song.
Now I like the song.
Okay, so is that fair for him to do that?
Hell no.
You don't think it's fair?
Hell no, because you know how you just like.
But what about?
so
I want to
many
ask you
songs,
this.
and
I want to
only
ask
like
you
the
this.
chorus.
Listen, what about when Jay-Z used to do it? Because I feel like people used to say that was a problem with Jay-Z because he used to say a lot of Biggie's lyrics. He used in his
Now
rhymes.
I feel like they were kind of close
Okay.
in generation. So I mean, just as far as like the music though,
No, they were really close. They were friends, Jay-Z and Biggie.
And I think and that's different. Now was this like shortly after Biggie died, or just like years after Biggie died?
Actually,
and he was just, like,
I
still
think
just-
even while Biggie was alive, he would, bar some of his lyrics, but especially after he died, obviously.
I don't even have no problem with that because you know what? I feel like that's a relationship.
Okay.
That's a relationship. Just like if Kanye, spit some of Jay-Z's, in his up and coming days.
Which he does. He did that.
Right, exactly. In College Dropout, and then even Jigga was on his album like first and foremost, fuck you Kanye, joking around. You know what I'm saying? So you can tell that it's a relationship built there. It's an amount of respect. He's not gonna go back and want to sue him for
But Drake going around quoting all these different artists who he obviously doesn't didn't have a personal relationship with.
Exactly.
Because I remember
and is not willing to work with.
I forget which album, but I think it was Nothing Was the Same. One of his albums, he had so many Wu-Tang references in it.
Yeah, he had a song called Wu-Tang, I believe.
That had nothing to do with fucking Wu-Tang, but
yep.
Yeah. So he does that. But we want to know what y'all think. This is Drake versus XXXTentacion. XXX says if Drake can be creative, if he can sing a cappella with no auto-tune, if he can do all these things without stealing people's cadences, that he will tattoo Drake's name on his ass.
And he'll run butt ass naked down the street.
So what do y'all think about that? You know what I'm saying? Let us know in the comments. Are you team Drake? Are you team XXXTentacion?
I'm team XX. I'm gonna tell you now.
Yeah, I'm team X too. So but let us know what you think, y'all, and make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter at anarchistbeats.com. You better go ahead and follow my girl K at 2_ the MFK, and then follow Mob Dollar at STMG Studios on Instagram. And then don't forget to follow my girl Ariel. What can they follow you at, Ariel?
You guys can follow me on Instagram. It's gonna be _A__B_.
And while you at it, man, make sure you follow that Black Flag Pro page on Twitter. That's at Black Flag Pro, and IG at Black Flag Pro. Drake versus XXX. We out. This is The Lower Level. Peace.
Interested in advertising your brand or business on The Lower Level? Email us at blackflagproductions@outlook.com or visit blackflagpro.com for more information.